Okay, let's talk about MIDI editing a little bit, and then we'll talk about quantizing, which is a very important element of MIDI editing. So let me go into this clip here. So I'm going to open up my piano roll editor. So this is called the piano roll editor. We call it that because it looks like a piano roll. Right? We see piano keys here, and it's kind of analogous to an old-timey piano player piano, if you've ever seen that. That's kind of what we base these on. But you'll find these piano rolls in just about every audio application, and they all work the same. Where there's a note, we're going to hear that note. Let me zoom in a little bit here. The grid works the same. We can extend that note. We can shorten that note. We can cut, copy, paste, duplicate, whatever you want with that note. There's a whole bunch of key commands you can do. One really handy key command that I think is unique to Ableton is actually shift up. So you can use arrow keys to move the note around. But if you do shift and then up arrow, you bump it up an octave. Same thing works down. Shift to the right is going to extend the note, and shift to the left is going to shorten the note. So those are just a handy couple key options. Option click and drag works. Basically everything works the same. You can select multiple notes by drawing a box around them and deleting them. Down here is our velocity setting. So each note has a velocity, and the velocity is basically a fancy way to say the volume of that note. So I can make this a little bigger by dragging this little bar right here up so we can see. So the range for velocity is always 1 to 127, and so I can click a note and then adjust its velocity. So it's going to get really quiet down here and louder up there. I can also randomize the velocity by clicking this button. Do some funny stuff. Now this is also where we get into MPE, which we'll talk about in a second. Hold on to that for a minute. But MIDI note editing works almost exactly the same as what we've talked about. We can move notes around, we can cut, copy, paste, all that good stuff. One of the new features here is that we can actually map to a scale. So you see the green and gray lines here. That's because I'm telling it to show me a scale over here. I can turn that off, and now we just see the black keys and the white keys, kind of set up as variations of gray. But if I want to say, show me where C major is or C minor is, then the green stuff is going to be in that key. I can still do stuff out of the key if I want. But if you wanted to limit yourself to only being in key, you could actually click this scale button here, and it's going to hide all the notes that are not in key. Bloop. Okay. Now, in this case, it didn't hide all of them because I'm using some of them, right? Here's an E, and that's not in key. So it's not hiding those. So I'm going to unhide that because I'm not actually in C minor. Okay, so next let's talk about quantizing, which is an important element to MIDI editing.